proclamation. Whereas Community Living Algoma has provided supports and services to people with intellectual disabilities and their families in the City of Elliott Lake and surrounding districts since 1954, and provides services to 402 adults and 138 children across the District of Algoma. And whereas Community Living Algoma's goal is that people with intellectual disabilities have every opportunity to participate fully in our community with dignity, independence, and acceptance. And whereas Community Living Algoma works with Elliott Lake volunteers and other stakeholder groups and organizations to promote citizenship for people with intellectual disabilities so they have the rights, responsibilities, and the opportunities that come with belonging, participating, and contributing as a valued member in society. And whereas Community Living Awareness Month is a province-wide initiative created to celebrate the values of community living, which are inclusion, equality, and respect. Now, therefore, I, Andrew Wannon, Mayor of the City of Elliott Lake, do hereby proclaim the month of May 2024 to be Community Living Awareness Month in the City of Elliott Lake.
There are probably a whole lot of people who aren't aware that benevolent ableism is a thing. It starts out by being something that is supposed to be caring and empowering and in a way helpful. But what it ends up doing is reinforcing the stereotypes. Benevolent ableism is a microaggression that sort of plays into the belief that people with disabilities need help. The helper is unintentionally makes the person that they're helping feel disempowered, sort of segregated, and that they are unable to make their own decisions. Let's listen to two different descriptions and see whether or not we can figure out what the differences are. So, from the proclamation, whereas Community Living Algoma has provided supports and services to people with intellectual disabilities and their families in the City of Elliott Lake and surrounding districts since 1954, and provides services to 402 adults and 138 children across the District of Algoma. And whereas Community Living Algoma's goal is that people with intellectual disabilities have every opportunity to participate fully in our community with dignity, independence, and acceptance. Now, this picture shows superheroes surrounding a group of people who all have signs that say help, help, help. But if you notice that those people are facing outwards, the superheroes they're not taking any notice of the people within. They're protecting them the way they feel that it's needed to be done. They're blocking them from whatever's coming towards them. They're not getting them involved in it. They're not asking them what they need to have done to help them. Nothing. Description number 2 is from this year's Community Living Ontario's post. Community Living Month is a province-wide annual awareness campaign in Ontario, Canada. It aims to recognize and celebrate the accomplishments of the community living movement. This movement strives to promote authentic community inclusion for people who have an intellectual disability and their families. Throughout May, organizations like Community Living Ontario and local associations across the province emphasize why inclusion matters for individuals with intellectual disabilities and their families. The goal is to create a society where everyone belongs, has equal rights, receives respect, experiences acceptance, and has opportunities for growth. Now, when you hear those or you read them separately, the differences might not be readily apparent. And that's the problem with ableist language. It's what we're used to hearing. It's very, very subtle. And The proclamation was read during a televised meeting of our city council, and that kind of gives it added weight and importance, and it raises the audience's expectation that something really good was happening. And the rest of the text for the proclamation is more a testimonial about community living Algoma than it is about the work that's being done with people with intellectual disabilities. And in fact, they do mention working with other stakeholder groups for people with intellectual disabilities. Stakeholders are those people who have a particular interest in the success of a business or an organization or a movement, anything like that. And so persons with intellectual disabilities would be considered major stakeholders. And yet the text says that stakeholders promote for persons with intellectual disabilities. The proclamation does not acknowledge intellectually disabled people as partners in this process. I've included 2 pictures here to describe the before and after of this paragraph in the proclamation, and here it goes. And whereas Community Living Algoma works with Elliott Lake volunteers and other stakeholder groups and organizations to promote citizenship for people with intellectual disabilities, so they have the rights, responsibilities, and the opportunities that come with belonging, participating in community, and contributing as a valued member in society. A very bold statement, I would say, for a group of people that already have all of those rights before Community Living Algoma ever came along. And that is why the pictures are of a very poor, downtrodden type of town with very little going on and very little by way of amenities in it. And then after the treatment, this wonderful utopian sort of area that has been provided for them. And that is how it made me feel. And it was really not a good feeling to have. Here's the thing for me. If you're going to have a Community Living Awareness Month, then what you talk about, what you concentrate on, what you give everything to is that people are people. Every single person on this planet is absolutely deserving of being afforded respect and being treated with dignity. Every single one. There is not a play. Kids should be able to go to any park, anywhere, and play with abandon, and they should be able to laugh. And whether or not they're in a wheelchair, whether or not they can hear, whether they can see, whether or not they have trouble with speech or with needing to feel safe or not knowing how to use something in particular, they deserve to have those things. That's what we're here for. If you want to be inclusive, if you want to create something that is better than what we currently have, better than what we even expect ourselves to be able to do now, then that's where you go with it. You go to that place that's over there and you forget about all of this nonsense that is I, me, look what I did, look how I helped, and you go, what can I give? How can I make things better? It's not about being celebrated for what you've done. It's about the doing. That's it. So, in conclusion, it is really important for us to recognize and address benevolent ableism towards intellectually disabled people, because together with them, us, them and everybody, we can work towards becoming a more compassionate and inclusive society where everyone is valued and respected for who they are. And remember, please, that small actions can lead to really big change. So let's continue to be aware and raise awareness and promote being inclusive in every aspect of our lives. A really interesting side note here. There was a board president for Community Living Ontario whose name was Michael Jacques. Okay, and he was the first to have to be a member, and he had an intellectual disability and autism. And one of the things that he remarked upon said was that Community Living Ontario taught me that I have a voice and that authentic inclusion means everyone. Community Living Month is all about celebrating our efforts to realize this vision and the people, families, and caregivers who make it all possible. I can't say it any better than that. Thank you for watching. I hope you comment and like the video. Consider subscribing. I'll see you in the next one.